Have you ever walked in your home and you just consistently see things out of place? You consistently see things that are never put away and you don't know why because you've been working really hard on decluttering and organizing your home, but those things just never get put away. Today, we're going to talk about some systems that have helped me over the past 6 years to get out of my crazy shopaholic ways, get out of my insanity with trying to over-organize my home, and some of the greatest ideas I've heard that help me to live in a clutter-free home. Let's start with one of my favorites, and that's the chafing rule. And the whole chafing idea speaks to me because often I couldn't identify exactly what was wrong, but I knew something wasn't working. And instead of spending so much of my time trying to research all the different organizational ideas out there in the world, I changed my thinking into just being able to identify what was bothering me first. And so that kind of gave me a break. I didn't have to have a solution to my problem. I just had to identify what my problem was. And through the past several years, what I've noticed, one of my biggest problems was that I either tried to over-organize my things or I tried to organize clutter. And when you try to do either of those things, you're going to end up pretty miserable because it's not going to work. So think about an area in your home today that you consistently see those things are not being put away. Think about all your craft supplies or your keys not being where they're supposed to be. What is causing the problem, the chafing, and why is it harder to put these things away than you think they should be? I remember trying to decant all of my food and it was absolutely a misery for me. Now, I love looking at highly organized pantries, but for me, it just doesn't work. It was too much for me to do after I bought the groceries and I was exhausted. So now I just have some baskets in there that I can dump all the things into, have a semblance of organization, but I don't need to take out every single little thing in order to feel like I'm being successful. So the chafing rule goes down to identifying where you are having a problem and thinking about ways that you can simplify, whether it is a basket there that doesn't have a lid because you consistently don't put those things away, or throwing a label on something so that you can help your family identify where they should go, and just scaling everything back a little bit. If you've gone a little crazy in the container store, realizing that a lot of times the less things that we have to organize our stuff, the easier it is for us to build in the pattern of putting them away. Okay, I'm unbelievably excited about this one. And it's because we recently just redid this in our brand new home. If you haven't been here for very long, we just moved about almost 2 months ago, and it's been a beautiful revolution of downsizing 600 square feet and getting the rancher of my dreams in the perfect neighborhood. So anyway, our drop zone area was not ideal at all. We used to have a beautiful closet that would hold everything, and as much as I miss that, I knew that we could get something that would work for your drop zone. So if you're struggling just like I was in this drop zone area, then think about the one-step rule. The second you come in your door, think about that one step that you take in the door. Everything that you need to put down, there has to be a place for it. And let's not overwhelm you. Okay, so think about the next time you walk in your door. It's getting colder. So I have my vest and I'll have my purse and I might have grabbed the mail and I'll have my keys. So there's 4 things immediately that I need to identify need a place. Oh, and my shoes. 5 things that I immediately need to put away. So what did I do? My husband and I created a plan on exactly what we would need. We slowly bought what we could use. And as the clutter bug taught me, buy what you really want. Buy the storage you really need. Don't just buy the cheapest version of something. Save your money and get what's going to be the solution, because tiny little pieces of organization is not going to make the room flow. So we got a shoe, I don't even know what you call them, like a shoe piece of furniture for your shoes, whatever. And my husband amazingly built us a shelf where we can hang up our smaller things on this side. And then on the other side, which I'll show you right in front of me, is the place where we're going to put our jackets and coats. We wanted to make sure we had enough hooks for all of us to have a place to put our things. And we wanted to identify where we were going to put those key 5 things as we walked in the door. If you're having a hard time with your entryway and you constantly feel like it's a hot mess, it's because you haven't identified those key things that you're going to have with you when you walk in the door. Take that one step in, think about what you're holding, and start brainstorming what would be the best idea that would work for what you have going on. Big thank you to today's sponsor, ECOVACS. I've been using the ECOVACS X11 OmniCyclone for several months now, and when we moved, I had to bring it with us. That's how much I love it. This vacuum mops my hardwoods, glides over any rugs, and moves between rooms completely on its own. The other day, I caught it doing this crazy thing. It stopped to wash the mop and boost charge 6% in just 3 minutes. Crazy, right? And that's their new Power Boost charging technology. It basically means unlimited runtime. As a busy ADHD mom with 1 kid and 2 dogs, that's huge. And if you've ever mopped only to find sticky spots or streaks later, you're gonna get why I'm obsessed. Most robot mops just spin around and smear dirt, but this one actually scrubs firm with even pressure. The upgraded roller picks up stick-up messes and pet hair without getting tangled, which is a big win for this house. What really impressed me is how well it cleans along walls and baseboards. It doesn't just get close, it reaches into those edges where crumbs love to hide. Plus, the upgrade 4-wheel drive climbing system means that it rolls right over door thresholds and rugs without getting stuck. And the bagless design, total bonus. No more buying or changing dust bags, which saves money and keeps things eco-friendly. Honestly, this little powerhouse has made keeping my floors clean so much simpler. So if you're juggling kids, pets, or just everyday chaos, you're going to love the X11 as much as I do. ECOVACS is having a Black Friday sale, so you're going to want to click on the link down below and check out the sale from November 20th to December 1st. This next one is all about consistency, which is the word of the day maybe, but it's the one thing that helped me to live in a more clutter-free home, and that is to have the idea of the same thing, the same place. So I have something like a helmet and I put it back in the same place every single time and I build in that consistency. I will never forget the day that I finally decided that I was going to have a place for my keys. And it was at our old house and I was so frustrated because I had a hook even already that I could put my keys on, but I consistently did not put my keys back in that same place. And so I was constantly running around like a crazy person looking for them. If I had known the whole idea, the rule of one thing, one place, it builds in the idea that our brains absolutely adore consistency. They love to find patterns. And if you want to build in a habit like putting your keys back in the same place every single time, then you have to be consciously aware that you're making that decision every time you walk into the door and you're walking out of the door. And it took me about 30 days, but it only probably took me about 2 weeks of actually saying it out loud that I was putting my keys back where they went until I started to do it more consistently because, like I said, our brains like the patterns. And if you say to yourself, I have this one thing, I have my keys and I need to put them back where they belong now that I'm inside the door, then our brain will start to soak in that as a pattern and we will see ourselves starting to become a lot more consistent about where we're putting our things and knowing where our things are. I hope that makes sense to you, but it's like a silly idea, but it has continually worked for me when I am trying to build new habits in that I say it out loud or I say it inside of my head what exactly I want to do with this object. And I make it almost like a game that if I do A, B, and C and put these things away, then I feel this dopamine hit, this excitement that I was able to follow through. Okay, so this next one is so silly, and yet it has made a huge difference in my day-to-day life. And it's called the LLO, or the lazy laundry loop. And it comes down to each member of my family has one laundry basket. So we have ours in our bedroom, my daughter has one, and then technically my husband's, I guess, would be in our bathroom. Each of them are small to medium size. And there's a huge reason why I think this works. So I've been decluttering my clothes for a long time now, and I've gotten down to a pretty, what I feel very comfortable with amount of clothing, but I would still wait forever and ever and a day to start the laundry because I don't like doing laundry, okay? It's not something that I'm really good at. keeping up with the habit, okay? So in order to counteract something that I naturally would avoid doing, having a smaller laundry basket means that I'm more consistent in doing the laundry because it's a trigger to my brain that the basket is full. I know we all love those like giant laundry baskets that have a bunch of different sections and they're so beautiful, but they don't work for people that have not built in a consistent laundry schedule. And by the time that those babies are full, you could have 3 or 4 loads and then no, like my whole family would have to help me do the laundry. And so no, I would totally avoid it. I do not like folding Mount Everest of laundry. And so if you're having the same problem that I often had, then the lazy laundry loop means that you each all have just one small to medium basket and you are able to consistently see and get the visual cue that it's time to do laundry. And so by the time that you do, it is a small load. It feels manageable. It feels like something that you can easily accomplish putting it away in the same day that you fold it. Okay, I haven't worn this headband in a while, so does this still look okay? Whatever. Okay, so this next one is called a detox, and we're gonna call it the flat surface detox. And it's very helpful if you are somebody that is struggling to keep your flat surfaces clear, if you're struggling to know if you're ready to get rid of some of your flat surfaces. Back in the day, when I first started this journey, I was extremely overwhelmed. My house was very, very full. I had lots of furniture. I love to thrift. And so a lot of my pieces were just a smorgasbord of things, right? And so having the whole idea be presented to me that I could take a few of the flat surfaces and completely detox them helped me so much. And it really all started with my dining room table. And it was constantly a place that I would leave things on. I was always trying to decorate it because isn't that what we see, right? We go into the stores and all the tables are beautiful and they have all this stuff for us to put on them. And I realized that as much as I enjoyed looking at other people's beautiful tables that were always beautifully decorated, I couldn't handle that. And I knew that I was overwhelmed. It was chafing, right? That word again. And I knew something had to be different. There had to be a better way, right? So that's when I started to detox my dining room table. And that led to me detoxing every other table. So basically, going to a flat surface that you feel very overwhelmed with and saying for the next day, next week, I'm not going to put anything on here. And it has to be an island. The second that I start to leave things on it, I have to put them back away as soon as I'm finished. Building in that consistency for a week and seeing how that starts to feel. Do you really want to bring back the flowers onto your table? Do you want there to constantly be a tablecloth on the table and all these decorations? Or does it feel a lot easier to take care of, a lot more manageable when you have less on it? That's what a detox can do for you. It can open up your eyes to see there are a lot of things that we tend to bring into our homes that we don't necessarily need. We just bring them in because we think they're cute. And yet they become that overwhelming clutter when we just have too much. All right, if you're enjoying this, then please come join us here on Minimalist and subscribe. But of course, if you're decluttering here with us, then throw a heart emoji down below because I like to know I'm not alone, and I'm sure a lot of us like to know it as well. Okay, this next one is called the grab and go roll. And I love this idea. And it really comes down to where are those things that you need on a consistent basis in order to get ready in the morning, in order to get ready to go to bed? Do you know where they are? Are they in a place that is easy for you to reach? And are they in a space where all the like things go together, right? They have a home. The words that always confuse me. And I love the grab and go roll. It can either be a bin, it can be a shelf, or for me right now, my grab and go area is behind our mirror in our bathroom. And it has become so useful because when I was setting up this area in my bathroom, I thought very seriously about what are the things that myself, my husband, and my daughter all need in the morning and at night in order to be successful and to get these things done quickly. So it came down to our toothbrushes and toothpaste, my makeup, and like deodorant, hairbrush, things like that. Were going to help us be successful in the morning and the evening quicker. I used to always just have these things out on different shelves or in the closet. And so they weren't in the immediate reach, grab and go area that I needed in order to be quick. And I think if any of us have ever had the chaos of a morning, you have kids, you're trying to get out the door as fast as possible and get to work, then you know that even an extra minute or two of spending time looking for these things in the morning can be very crucial for us in order to be successful. So today, I would love it if you would find a place in your bathroom where you can have a grab and go area. If you don't have the medicine cabinet thing like I do, which I never had before, think of the closest drawer to the mirror or the sink. Think about a cabinet you might have that's close to the sink area where you're going to be using those toothbrushes and looking in the mirror for that makeup. Or is there a shelf that you could add? The more that you get things up off the countertop, the better. I would suggest you're going to be more successful about keeping that area clean. But if it's not in a grab and go area, an easy one-step reach, then you're adding extra time to your daily routine. Okay, I have fallen into this mistake a million times. So I'm going to say it out loud for myself and for you guys. And that is, more is not always easier rule. And okay, so story time. I have had lots of things in my life that I thought I needed more of to feel comfortable and successful, including scissors, glue, tape, multiple jackets, multiple different kinds of the same shoe. These kind of things add up very quickly, right? And we think in our beautiful brains, and we're told by society that the more we have of something, the easier our life is going to be and the easier that we're going to be able to find those things. And for me, which I've had to do, is realize that we all have a threshold for the amount of things that we can take care of in our home. That's all different. But there's also just something that comes along with having multiple of the same thing, where we start to detach from the idea that they are of value to us. Okay, let me explain. So when I used to have lots and lots of pairs of scissors, I never knew where they were. And it wasn't that I didn't have a place to put them. It just was that I knew I had a lot of the same thing. And so I didn't value consistently putting them away. And I didn't value keeping up with them, being able to take care of them, clean them after I used them if they had glue on them. I knew that I always had one extra pair or three extra pairs, should I say, somewhere else. So I didn't feel the need to take care of my things. And this whole idea of having more isn't always better has come along with minimalism, but it really rings true. I have one wooden spoon in my kitchen. I have one pair of tongs in my kitchen, and it's all that I personally need in order to be successful. But at the same time, I know exactly where they are all of the time, and I take care of them the way that they need to be taken care of because I know I only have one, and so it has more value to it. Does that make any sense at all to you guys? Let me know if this is ringing true for you. But once I started taking away all this excess, I realized that I had the time and energy and the desire to take care of my things because I knew that I had so much less of them that it was in my wheelhouse to be able to keep up with them. And I knew that they had more value to me because the second that I lose these scissors or they break, I'm going to need to go buy another one. There aren't a ton of excess laying around my house. Okay, and this one actually comes from my family, my parents, because they say this all the time, and that's the good enough is good enough rule. And I love this so much because if you've ever painted with my parents, you know that they often don't put up tape and they just do the best that they can. And at the end of the day, when they're tired, they're done. And I think it's amazing and hilarious, but it has helped me to identify the things in my home that I often felt lacking in. And I would go to stores and we'd see all these beautiful things and we'd want to buy them because we just think everyone has them. And we want our home to look perfect, right? But when we start to change our mindset that good enough is good enough, we can have good enough furniture. If it's useful and our family is enjoying it, then it's good enough. We don't always need to be changing things up. It doesn't mean that we can't want better for ourselves. It doesn't mean that we can't save up for the things that are going to make a huge difference in our organization or in our just daily living, but it means that we can be happy with what we have. And that whole mindset helped me so much because I have been a shopaholic. I used to consistently, I didn't know how to not buy clothes for a week. I remember going my first week when I was challenging myself with minimalism, not buying clothes, and it felt so weird to not go shopping. And I remember going into Target with my mom and not getting a cart and saying to myself that I was going to go in there and only get what I needed or nothing at all. And the little challenges like those helped me to get over my perfectionism to have everything just the way that I thought it should be. And I think that a lot of us struggle with perfectionism. Whether you look around your house and you think it looks like crazy crapshoot right now, I think a lot of us are struggling to get rid of the things that we know we can declutter. Be happy not getting anything new for ourselves or our kids, walking away from all those sales because we think that if we have more, we're going to be happier. And in reality, that constant need for perfection is really draining and exhausting, and it's not making us happy. Is what it hit me that more clothes coming in was never making me happy because I still always felt like I was missing out on something. And it wasn't until I thought about enough is enough. I have enough and I can be happy. Good enough is good enough. I can be happy with what I have, that I finally slowed down my whole shopping process and I don't feel the need to constantly go out and look for more because I know that my home is making me safe. It's making me comfortable right now. And I'm able to enjoy what I have a lot more when I have a lot less. All right, friends, I hope this has helped. I've loved sharing these ideas with you, and I would love to know what you guys are working on at home as we do this whole series. And of course, I wish you guys all the very best.